What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, and today is going to be something a little bit different. I am hot off the heels of MVP Summit 2026, which for those of you that don't know, is a 4-day event where Microsoft MVPs are invited up to Seattle to hear about the latest developments across the product stack, having real conversations with product teams, and provide feedback that actually helps shape the direction of these tools. And one of the recurring themes this year, no surprises, was AI. Specifically how Microsoft are thinking about AI not as a bolt-on feature, but as something that fundamentally changes how their products are designed and used. And that includes their developer tooling. Now, I should say up front, I'm not a developer. I don't write software. In the context of my day job, I do use what you might call operational code, PowerShell scripts, things that help manage Microsoft 365 environments, deploy tools, push registry keys, that kind of thing. But I'm definitely not building applications or writing production software. And that context is actually important for this video, because what I want to talk about today is something that I think is genuinely interesting for people like me, just as much as it is for actual developers. So let's start with a bit of background. Visual Studio Code, or VS Code, has been around for a while now, and if you are in the Microsoft ecosystem, you've almost certainly come across it. It's what's known as an IDE, an integrated development environment. In plain English, that just means it's a single application that brings together all the tools a developer needs to write, test, and debug code, instead of jumping between a text editor, terminal, a version control tool, and whatever else. It's all in one place, and that combination of convenience and extensibility is why it's become one of the most popular editors on the planet, used by everyone from hobbyists to enterprise development teams. Now, for people like me, the PowerShell crowd, the IT pros, the consultants, VS Code has also become the go-to tool. It's great for writing and running scripts, it integrates with Git, it's lightweight, and honestly, it just makes life easier. So it's already got a really broad user base, well beyond traditional software developers. But here's where things get interesting, and this is really the heart of what I want to talk about today: AI. Specifically, GitHub Copilot. Now, Copilot is Microsoft's AI product, and you'll know it's been integrated across basically everything. Microsoft 365 apps, Teams, the admin portals, but GitHub Copilot is the coding specific side of that, built for people who are writing or generating code. And it's really where this popular term vibe coding comes from. The idea being that regardless of your experience level, you can describe what you want to build in plain language and let the AI write the relevant code for you. You're kind of vibing your way through the creation process. There's also a slightly different term, AI-assisted development, which tends to imply a more structured workflow where experienced developers use AI to accelerate their output rather than replace their knowledge altogether. But honestly, for someone like me who doesn't write software professionally, the practical experience is pretty similar either way. You describe what you want, the AI builds it. Whether that's vibe coding or assisted development is almost a philosophical distinction at that point. Actually, let me know in the comments if you'd be interested in a dedicated video on that topic. The difference between vibe coding and AI-assisted development, where those workflows diverge, and which one is actually more effective for different types of users. I think there's genuinely an interesting video there. Anyway, the point is that GitHub Copilot in VS Code has been transformative, but it's been primarily designed around the developer workflow. The IDE itself was always built for people who write code. The chat panel, the file explorer, the terminal, the extension system, all of it assumes a certain level of familiarity with how software is built. And as AI has made that more accessible to a broader audience, Microsoft started asking a pretty logical question: what does this tool actually need to look like for the modern way people are using it? And that's where Sessions comes in. VS Code Sessions is a new standalone experimental app from the VS Code team. And the best way I could describe it is it's VS Code, but rethought from the ground up around the AI-first, agent-driven workflow. Not a replacement for VS Code, more like a purpose-built companion for the way a lot of people are actually working with these tools now. The key word there is experimental. This is early access territory, and Microsoft are actively looking for feedback to shape where it goes, which is actually exciting because you're getting in at the ground level on something the team are clearly investing heavily in. So let's talk about how it's different, because the first thing you'll notice when you open it is what's not there. There's no code window front and center, no file explorer pane, none of the traditional IDE Chrome that you'd expect from VS Code. And that's entirely intentional. because Sessions is built around the idea that for a lot of people, the code itself isn't the primary interface anymore. The AI is. What you get instead is a chat-first experience, a clean input box, the same kind of prompt interface you'd expect from any modern AI tool, with all the model options and context controls you'd find in VS Code's Copilot panel, but without all of the surrounding IDE complexity getting in the way. But here's the part that I think is genuinely clever. On the left-hand side, you've got what looks like individual conversations, and they are, but they're actually separate agent sessions, each tied to a different task or project. And this is where Sessions does something that VS Code never could in a single window. In traditional VS Code, if you wanted to work on multiple projects across different workspaces or repositories at the same time, you had to open multiple instances of the whole application, multiple windows, multiple setups. It gets messy fast. Sessions solves that. You get a single pane of glass where you can manage multiple agent sessions across multiple workspaces simultaneously. Think about what that actually means in practice. You could have one session writing a PowerShell deployment script, another spinning up a web component, and another working through a debugging problem, all running in parallel, all visible from the same window. You can delegate work to agents, let them run in the background, and jump back in when you need to review or steer. It's honestly a bit like being an orchestrator. You're managing your AI agents across different workloads from a single control panel, which, if you're familiar with how multi-agent architectures work, is kind of a fun irony. Now, I can already hear the developers in the comments. What about the code? You can't just abstract that away entirely for people who actually need to see and control what's being written. And Microsoft know that. So there's an option in the top right corner that opens up VS Code. You can pop into the code, see what the agent is actually producing, make changes directly if you want to. The full capability is still there. It's just no longer taking up prime real estate by default. And there's nothing stopping you from running sessions side by side with another IDE, whether that's full VS Code or something else like Windsurf or Cursor. The tools you're used to aren't going anywhere. Sessions is just giving you a different lens to work through, one that's optimized for the AI-driven approach. So that's a high-level look at what the VS Code team have been building. And again, this is experimental right now. It's early access, but that's actually a reason to go and try it, not a reason to wait. The team over at Microsoft are actively looking for feedback on where this goes. And given what I saw at MVP Summit around where AI-driven development tooling is headed, Sessions feels like a genuine glimpse of what the default development environment might look like in a few years. Download links are in the description. Go and grab it, spend some time with it, and then come back and tell me what you think. Specifically, do you think this is the right direction? Does abstracting the code away make you more productive? Or does it feel like a step too far? I genuinely want to know kind of where you land on that, so drop it in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. It genuinely helps more people find the channel. And subscribe if you're not already, because we've got a lot more coming across both the AI tooling space and the Microsoft 365 security series that's been going down really well. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.